Hi guys, it's Wednesday and welcome back to The Good Guide. We are here with Mr. Tom Wolfenden and Mr. Peter Briggs at Ashaway, professional badminton players and ambassadors. Guys, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, doing good.
Good stuff. So to start with, let's just hear a little bit about what you've been doing recently.
So recently, at the end of the summer, we came back from Asia, and then since then we've been in a crazy training block. We've just had a 5-week training block, and then we just gone to Dutch International last week.
How did that go?
Lost second round in mixed doubles, but started a new partnership in the mixed, and not played mixed for a long time. So yeah, it's good. It's good. A lot of positives to take, and yeah, just a lot to work on.
And you were playing doubles there, weren't you?
Yeah, I just started a new partnership as well with the men's, and yeah, same as Tom really. It was a second round loss for us to some seeds, but it was just ironing things out in the partnership. Like we were good in the rallies, good in the match, and then like right towards the end, it was a case of not having like a set play to fall back on or a tactic to get that last point. So yeah, similar situation to Tom really, and the training block's been really intense. Like we're quite tired.
That's good stuff. Okay, so thanks very much for having us here. Obviously, you have a very busy schedule, and we appreciate you taking the time to come out and talk to us. Obviously, in the last video, we asked the people to send some questions in to ask you guys. So we'll get a few of those out of the way. So the first question came from Ray Green, and he said, "Do you have any routines or habits that you use in tournaments and stuff to combat your nerves before you go?"
Yeah, I think we all have like our own set routine to warm up and mentally prepare, but everybody's different. So you just have to try and figure out what works for you. Like some people like to put the headphones in and be like listening to like intense motivational music and don't like to like talk to other people. Some people like to be a bit more relaxed. So I think it's just playing around with it and finding what works for you. Right, everyone's got their own little thing, their own little spin on it. I like to be a bit more relaxed and make sure I follow the same routine in the warm-up to make sure my body's ready. But sometimes you go into a game like a little bit more nervous than normal. Maybe your favourite to win, there's a bit of pressure, or maybe the underdog's playing like one of your idols or something like that. Sometimes you feel like you've got heavy legs or something like that. So if you got that feeling, maybe just try and do a little bit more to get the legs firing. But it's just playing around and what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their fixed routines for warming up, and I do think that they factor into nerves quite a lot, like in terms of like wiping them out. But I think some people just have random tics, you know, things that aren't at all related to badminton or to anything that they'll just do. So I don't know, do a certain number of steps up and down the hall before they just go on the hall. I'll have like we used to do a fist bump thing for one ball every time. I don't know if that had anything to do with combating nerves or if it was just a random habit, but it's weird, you almost get superstitious. But yeah, so just a solid warm-up, same thing every time. You find a lot of players do that, and then there will just be, you'll see people do some really weird stuff, they'll be ready.
The next lot of questions actually come from someone called Steph. So Steph, thank you for sending in probably around about 7 questions for the boys. So the first one is, what's your favourite racket? Now I know the answer to this question, and
It's not Ashaway. No.
it's the Phantom X-Fire 2, and these are available at loads of different retailers that we connect with, such as Central Sports, Direct Sports, Stringers World, TRME if you're local to Milton Keynes, which is obviously where we are today, and Tennis Nuts. But the next question was favourite string.
Okay, I use the 66 Fire string. Played around with a few different strings, but I think for me it's the perfect gauge. Like it's not too thick for me, and it's not too thin that it snaps all the time. So I get a good durability out of it. Helps me with my power, at the rear court with my smashes, and I feel like I get good touch with it. So yeah, for me it's the 66 Fire.
The next question leads on quite nicely actually. So your favourite and least favourite drill? Drill, okay. So I know for a fact that the multis here are brutal. Like you can hit probably over 1,200 shots in the morning.
Yeah, they can be quite tough.
Yeah, it's a tough question to be fair. I'd say, I don't know, we all love playing matches, don't we? So I think in training, when we get a match play session, like that's what we play for and what we train for. So for me, like the match play session is the most enjoyable because we can experiment with all the new things we've been working on. And yeah, for me, that's definitely the session I like the most. Maybe as a drill, maybe 3v2 defence. So we'll have the 2 doubles players starting in defence, 3 people attacking, like really high pressure, so you have to be so ready in the legs. And it is a really fun practice. Like when you're attacking, you just try and hit winners and smash it as hard as you can, and then in defence you just got to try and survive, get everything back. And then for me, least favourite, our multi-feed's really hard, but no, it's not my least favourite. My least favourite is probably like a mid-rear session. So 2 people just feeding me, I'm just in the mid-court and the rear court, just jumping around, just getting worked out on my own. Yeah, I'd say for me that is my least favourite.
That's tough.
I don't have favourite or not favourite drills because I feel like every time I train, I bring like a different perspective into the same drill. So even though you can do the same thing for years, it's not the same thing because you've got different work areas, you've got different things that you want to get better at. So it's quite hard to pick out like a favourite. I mean, match play obviously is kind of everyone's favourite. So I'm going to say that, just to fit in. But yeah, I think least favourite is actually, for me, sometimes some of the technical drills, because when you're not getting it right, there's nothing more frustrating than not executing what you've been working on for ages. So yeah, and that technical could go from mid-court to nets to lifts. Like lifts can be very frustrating. Like if you lift it out the side, you get mad. So yeah, that's probably it for me.
Right, okay, so the next question is favourite and least favourite shot.
Favourite and least favourite shot? It's a tough question. I'd say for me, my favourite shot is my forehand cross-court smash. Try not to use it too much, as if I hit cross-court and my partner's not ready, we're in a bit of trouble. But yeah, for me, that's the one that feels the best, and when I connect with it and catch my opponents, it feels good. So I'd say that's my favourite shot. It's really hard to pick a least favourite shot.
I mean, you have to play them all at some point.
Yeah, you've got to play all the shots, and sometimes you play it at the wrong time. But yeah, it's tough to single out a least favourite shot.
Yeah, I think my favourite shot is definitely a cross drive from the right hand side, taking a backhand and knocking it into the 5-point box. Yeah, I love that. You know, sometimes I get over enthused with it, and that's when it becomes my least favourite shot as well. But yeah, that's definitely my favourite. And like with Tom, it is hard to pick a least favourite. I mean, I could tell you my worst shot, but I don't think that's my least favourite because I keep trying it. So yeah, I guess I haven't really got one.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good to hear. Best badminton moment.
Best badminton moment. So definitely winning Canada, winning the Canadian Open Grand Prix last year was definitely the biggest moment in my career so far. It was the biggest win we've had. So yeah, that was just amazing. We went into it like we were thinking we could beat every pair, but just every match we went to 3 sets and we just got through it, and it was just kind of like a surreal moment at the time. We didn't expect it to happen, and we were staying in an Airbnb with a jacuzzi, like we were just having a good time, and yeah, we played well. And so I'd say, yeah, that's probably my biggest moment. Other than getting my first England cap for the seniors, I'd say that's a close second. Just a really proud moment. That's something you dream of as a young kid, represent your country in the senior major competitions. So I'd say
Is that the same for you as well?
Yeah and no. Like I've got like a little collection of best bits or highlights really. But right up there with the win in Canada is actually winning around at the All England, which was our first. Was that our first All England together? I can't remember. But we came through qualifying. We had some good wins. I hit a very silly shot in qualifying, which we've got on film, so that's
It's all
fine.
over social media.
Yeah, it's there. If you want to see it, it doesn't happen on purpose, so it's fine. And then, winning a round in the main draw was a serious achievement for us. We were really happy with it. And then we got to play against Kevin and Gideon the round after, so they're all right.
They're not too bad.
They're okay. And obviously I think team stuff is huge.
Yeah.
I love it. So when we beat Kuantan at the World Team events, that was for me that had the most meaning behind it. Because, even though we couldn't bring it home for the team because we still lost as a team, to perform for the squad is definitely a good thing.
The final question that we had from Steph was, if you two weren't professional badminton players, what job would you have and why?
Okay. I'd still be in badminton. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say I'd be a coach. I really like coaching. I enjoy it. I love to help people and see them making improvements.
Yeah.
But say if it's not badminton, then I have no idea, to be honest.
Badminton or nothing.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a badminton player or be involved in badminton from a very young age. I'd made my mind up to what I wanted to do. So I'd stay in badminton, probably a badminton coach.
Okay, perfect.
I think for me it would have been very difficult to get away from sport, just because I just love sport. So if it wasn't badminton, maybe it would have been a different one.
Maybe basketball.
Anything for tall people, I would do that. But I think outside of that, I would have definitely followed up on my degree and done something with my maths, maybe some sort of financial investment or something really boring, which I'm sure would have been great.
Now our next question comes from someone who's actually recently started playing with Pete, Greg Mayers, and he says, who's better looking now?
I've got a solid answer for this. It's not Greg.
That's it. It's
just
Greg.
not Greg.
Greg, it's not you. Okay. That's it. So, final question from the public was from Shaya McLaren. So she asked, just what keeps you motivated from day to day?
I think just having goals definitely helps to keep you motivated. You've got to have some short-term goals, medium-term goals, and then you have that long-term goal, that dream. That does keep you going. And then for me, my family helps to keep me motivated a lot. I'm really close with my family, and for me, they've given up so much to help me play badminton and be where I am today. Just my family do help me a lot.
To stay motivated is tricky because you can't wake up and look at the long-term goal every day and be like, I'm so motivated for that.
For 2022.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to have to focus, like Tom says, on just the long-term goals. So it's the small-term things, it's the little wins that keep you going in your training. Positive feedback obviously is a great one for keeping you motivated. So any coaches out there, be nice to your kids, but make sure they've actually done something to deserve it. I think for me, just working on the little things and noticing the changes, because you can train for a whole year and you won't necessarily notice how much you've improved. It's only the external people that come in and they see you and go, I've not seen you in 6 months. There's a massive difference, and you don't know that because every day you're working on it, trying to get a bit better. So it's just sort of having a scale of the bigger picture and concentrating on the little things.
So thank you everyone who sent in the questions. Hope that the answers were helpful to everyone out there. I'm sure they were. So the questions from us now, I'm going to get the bad stuff out of the way first. March last year was a pretty dark time here with the UK sport funding being cut. How did you guys deal with that?
It was difficult, really hard. When we first found out the news about the funding cut, it didn't quite hit you with the exact impact it was going to have. So that took a little bit of time for us to find out exactly what it meant. And then we had a dark time when we lost half of the squad. So half of the squad got kicked off funding. And going into them meetings to find out your fate was very, very difficult. And even seeing your friends getting kicked off the programme was tough. I remember my meeting was on the Tuesday, I think it was, and there were some players had their meetings on the Monday, and I was busy training away, and then I saw like my friend walk past, and he's just like, no, like I've not made the cut. So that was very, very hard. Like personally, and it's just a huge impact. But then following on from that, what else can you do other than keep your head down and keep trying to work and keep trying to get better? So over time, it like, did get easier to deal with. Obviously, there's impacts that it still has on us, like with our budgets and everything like that. So it was a really hard time, but now you just got to keep knuckling down and keep working hard and keep trying to look for the positives. It was tough.
Yeah, I think obviously it was tough, but I think it's important to know that it's still tough and it's getting worse. So even though you can look at badminton and be like, oh look, they're bouncing back, they're getting good medals and stuff, this is all short term because our long-term plan for Badminton England is darker than the cup. Really, to be honest. So, but yeah, I was part of that cut. So I was cut off. I was off the program for a year, and it was playing with Tom, winning Canada, doing well, that got me back to the position where I'm at now. So for me, this next couple of years is probably going to be a lot easier than everyone else because I've already been in that place where I've had no financial support at all. So as we gradually sort of peter out towards that situation, I guess I'll be more prepared than everyone else. But yeah, it was dark times then, and it's going to get worse. But we are ready to train hard and hopefully get back.
So you mentioned earlier with one of the questions that you're really close with your family. So how difficult do you find it being away from home, obviously living here while you're training in the week?
I found it really difficult at first. When I first moved down here, I think I was 19. Just to move away from home when you're 19 is a big deal, and it's an even bigger step when it's so far away from home. It's like 3 hours away from Liverpool, so I did find it hard at first, and obviously I still have my moments where I miss my family when I've been on the road for a long time. I've got 2 small nieces now as well, so obviously I'd like to see them as much as I can. It is hard. It does have its hard at times, but it's not the worst. It's only a 3-hour drive if I need to get up there or jump on the train for a few hours, but that does help to keep me motivated. So it's not too bad, and you learn to deal with it.
Well, I mean, I come from a different sort of family situation to Tom. My family are obviously very supportive, and they love that I do what I do, but I'm quite independent. So, I moved out before I went to uni, and I've spent a lot of time sort of living not home. So for me, it's really nice to see them, and it's really good to catch up. But going on a 3 or 4 week tour, it's not the end of the world because I've done 3 or 4 years at university, and I won't see them for that period of time anyway. For me, it just makes it a bit more special when I get to see them. And I've got a few weddings coming up with the family as well, so it'll be really... No, my little sister's getting married in the summer next year, so that'll be great. But yeah, it's really nice to see them, but for me it doesn't have a massive impact on the training. I know that they're being very supportive, but I also know that I can sort of do my own thing and not have to worry.
So, again, you mentioned earlier you wanted to be a badminton player from a young age.
Yes.
How does the lifestyle compare now you're here to what you thought?
Well, maybe probably the training's more intense, full on than you have to expect when you're younger. Because when you're younger, you don't train as hard relatively as we do now. But on the other hand, it is the lifestyle I expected. You grow up watching Nathan Robertson and Andy Clark, and you know they're touring all over the world, playing all these competitions, and that's what I wanted to do. Luckily enough, that's what I can do. So yeah, I kind of expected it to be the way it is. Obviously, it's very, very intense, but that's what professional sport is. If you're not training hard, then you're going to be good enough. So
you're not going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to expect from professional sport. Obviously, I knew really well a lot of working hard, but I wasn't sure if being a full-time badminton player meant that you would have some spare time to sort of think and work and test yourself mentally on the side as well. But it really doesn't. If you do that, that's when your badminton suffers. So. Like a great one is that we did evening coaching quite regularly because we had to supplement the money that we were losing on myself on part of those situations. So, like doing that, you think, oh yeah, it's great. I get to work on some people skills. I get to impact another person's career and hopefully help them improve. And you love it, and then you realise that actually, by the time Wednesday comes around, you've lost 20-30% of the intensity that you could have brought to training. So it really is like an all or nothing situation.
Now, this next question I can personally relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people can, but they're not willing to admit it. I have definitely done this on several occasions. So, have you ever taken off your tracksuit bottoms and realised that you have no shorts on?
Surely everyone's done it. Everyone's surely done it once or twice. Luckily enough, you notice straight away.
Yeah.
And then you just got to get yourself a pair of shorts, but surely everyone's done it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer.
It's been done, definitely. I think it's more common that I have a shirt on back to front because I've got dressed in the dark before I left the house. But yeah, it must have happened.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously you come into training every day. Is there anything that you find in particular, say when you're training or if you're warming up, that are key factors to you guys playing?
So with regards to warming up, like we all have our little different areas which we need to work on more than others. So say, for instance, I need to warm up my shoulder a bit more because I've had shoulder problems in the past. So I'll work on my shoulders, and I've got tight hips as well, like most badminton players. So making sure I get the hips firing and my shoulder warm. So I think everyone has their little different key areas which they need to work on a bit more in the warm-ups to get them really ready for the session.
I think Tom said it. For me, it's hips. Absolutely, I stretch my hips all the time. I'm so inflexible. It is scary. But yeah, I think as well it's important to actually be like, I know this sounds stupid, but to be fully awake by the time you get to training. Because for so many people, when you're going through university sport or college sport or whatever, you wake up 10 minutes before the session and you probably eat breakfast on the way there, and that's really not ideal. Like not ideal at all. So.
I was definitely one of those people.
No, I did. At Loughborough, it's with the early mornings. You're thinking, oh, this is too early. You wake up and you just rock out. But it's so important. So before I'm up at least 2 hours before the actual session starts at 9, and I think that really helps. Because you're not bleary-eyed, you've not got your heavy legs, and that's part of warming up, but it's also part of being up.
Yeah. Obviously, you get your own time in the evenings. So, how do you guys like to use that in terms of winding down and relaxing after a tough day of training?
Especially during this training block that we're in, very, very tired after a day's training. Usually, just get some food, have myself a good meal, and then wash up, and then I play my PlayStation. Got the new FIFA, so that keeps me entertained at the moment. I just play a bit of PlayStation, and then I'm going to sleep by 10 o'clock or 9:30 latest every night at the moment, just because training's so hard, I'm so tired. I just like to just relax, maybe a little bit of Netflix, just literally just switch off and chill out as well. That's what I like to do.
I used to like doing things in the evening, but like Tom says, this training block is killer. So for me, thankfully, I love to cook, so that's I can feed myself, which is great, and also do something that I like doing. So that's a win. But apart from that, it depends. If the day's been really hard, I'll fall asleep at 5 for an hour and a half, and then cook, and then it's definitely bedtime. But it's a lot of TV. I've been too tired to play my Xbox recently. So I can admit that it's been hard, but yeah, just winding down and being inactive is actually so important for recovery.
Do you feel like that helps you with the next day of training as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I slept for like 9.5 hours last night because I was in bed by 9, and that helped me this morning. We'll see if it helps this afternoon. Probably not, but I'll give it a go.
Perfect. So we found out there that I'm with Tom on the PlayStation front, and on the cooking front, I'm there with Pete. I didn't realise I had so much in common with these guys. So speaking of food, how important do you guys think that diet is in terms of your day-to-day routines and your optimum performance? I know that the nutrition setup here is fantastic. Do you guys receive a lot of help with that? And how does that?
We do get nutrition help. Not as much as we used to. The funding cuts, cuts happen behind closed doors as well. But nutrition is very, very important. Especially when we're training as hard and as long as we are. Like, we need the energy, and we need to be eating the right foods in order to give us that energy, so we can perform and train hard and last for the whole session. For me, I eat frequently. I need to eat a lot because we're burning so many calories. But eating clean, eating the right stuff does make you feel better. And you sleep well, you wake up in the morning bit better recovered, and then maybe if you recover 10% more because you've eaten well, that goes a long way. The little percentages do make the big difference. Eating clean, you definitely feel better.
I mean, eating well is so important, and we have got nutritionists and stuff who helps out. Sometimes it's just about eating as much as you can. Literally just stocking up, especially for people like us who, we train all the time, but we've also got really high metabolisms running alongside that. It's going to be different for everyone, but for me, the most important thing that I do is have a solid breakfast, because I'll set you up for the day, blah blah blah. We've all heard it before. But when you step into the hall at 7:30, 7:45 in the morning, and you don't leave the training course until 11, you need to have eaten something solid, because a bowl of cereal is just not going to cut it.
So fully visual.
Yeah, every morning. That's why I'm up so early.
Is there anything specific in terms of food that you guys do, say, compared to the rest of the players? So I'll have Marcus and Chris say they might have individual needs, but do you guys have any individual needs in terms of nutrition?
Yeah, I think just the main thing is just to get protein after every session, just to help us recover. That's, for me, that's probably the key. And if needed, just because of our metabolism, we have to eat a lot. And for us to maybe put on a bit of weight, we need to eat even more. So for me and him, we just got to eat a lot. As Pete said before, maybe other players don't need to eat quite as much as us, but we need to eat a lot with the amount we train, even just to maintain weight, because we're burning so many calories. So just the amount of food for us is key.
I agree. It's just got to eat a lot, and also I do think it's important to put yourself in a good mental state. So if you know a particular meal is one that you really like, that's going to help. You get that in on a Wednesday when you've already done 3 days of tough training. And then there's also remembering, it's all right to occasionally have something nice, but you've got to do it at the right time. You've got to fit it in well. I mean, if you're having a slice of cake for lunch, you're screwed.
Probably not choose.
If you go to a Pizza Hut buffet on a Friday, the rest of your Friday is ruined. So you shouldn't do that. But you can get good stuff in, just at the right times.
Second to last question. Now, I've played a couple of international tournaments, and there's a distinct difference in the hall and the atmosphere and the environment that you play in. So how do you guys find is the easiest way to adapt to that?
Yeah, I just think, obviously, we're quite experienced now. We've been playing internationals for so long, but you said when you first play, like it is a different kettle of fish. It's completely different. Like everyone is a lot more professional because most people are professional players or really want it. But yeah, just doing what works for you. Like as we said before, like we've all got our routines, and if it's working for you, you just keep doing it, no matter what the environment or how daunting it is. Like we played tournaments in Indonesia, and the fans are crazy, they're mental, and the atmosphere is unbelievable. Even on qualifying day, the stadium's full, and like it can be a bit daunting, but you just got to think it's like try and zone out, and just focus on you and your performance and what you need to do for you. Like whether there's other people around or you just need to do what works for you.
Yeah, I think that sort of stuff, all the external factors that you get at these tournaments are things that you just got to deal with, assess, and put behind you straight away. So if it's a drifty hole, have a quick chat with the coach, talk about the fact that you can't lift from one end, or you're going to have to play a certain style, and then focus on the style, don't focus on the hole. And it's the same with like fans and people going mental. If you're playing, well, we played in Indonesia against Indonesians, so obviously people really wanted us to win. And it's I didn't even notice. People are going nuts. There's loads of volume everywhere, and I had no idea because I knew it was going on, but I just put it to the back of my mind and concentrated on the performance.
Final question. We've spoken a lot about goal setting in this, and it's very important to have short, mid, and long-term goals. So what are the long-term goals for you guys?
Long-term goals to win a major medal, for me, Olympics or World Championships is the big dream, the final goal for me. There's a lot of work to go, a lot of steps along the way, but for me that's the ultimate dream.
Everyone's long-term goal, right? It's the same thing. We all want that Olympic success, which is why you start out training. So definitely that would be sort of the long-term goal. I think it's important to, like I've said already, to keep hold of those short-term goals, but I think it's very important not to get hung up on a result for a short-term goal. Because the long-term is you want that world medal. But say you go to a world champs when you're not quite ready for the world medal, you set your sights on it and you fail to get it. That's when you need to actually sort of not let that knock you back and get you down, because that is the end of so many people's careers, is nearly success. So if you want that long-term goal to still be there, you've got to realise that every performance is not going to be your last or your best.
Guys, thanks again so much for having us. It's been great to talk to you. Hope that you've all enjoyed this video. Any more questions that you have for the boys based on this, we'll definitely be coming up again soon if they'll have us. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you like, comment and subscribe below. Head over to our Ashaway Badminton Facebook page, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.